I have a question for you. What do you think the most addictive thing you have on you right now is? Nope, it's not your vape, it's not your phone. It's not your phone either. What if I told you it was actually the Delta-8 disposable you just bought? These are not just harmless weed pens. They are synthetic chemicals that are unregulated, untested, and sold like candy. Bright packaging, cheap, and you can find it everywhere. Does that sound familiar? Think about how easily drugs like crack or opiates swept through communities, hooked millions, and left devastation behind. Now, Delta-8 is different, but the playbook is the same. It's addictive, it's marketed to be easy to grab, and it is sold with almost zero oversight. And you know what? Your mom probably has sent you an article or two talking about this. And yeah, you know what? We might skip through that article and not even read it, but the risks are still going to be there either way. And the risks just are not worth it. Seizures, paranoia, organ damage, and even death. Yeah, death. In this video, I am going to break down what Delta-8 really is, why it's so dangerous, and why you should probably be reading those articles that your mom is sending you. Now, I am going to start off this video talking a little bit about my own experience with Delta-8 and kind of what made me want to make this video in the first place. So I am a gardener myself, and I have been gardening for almost 8 years now. So because I'm a gardener, that is honestly what made me want to talk about this, because it's not weed. You're not smoking weed. So I was born and raised in New Jersey. We only got weed legalized in 2021, I believe. And like I said, I've been partaking for about 8 years at this point. I've been around the block a couple times before it was legal, if you know what I mean. There was a few times that I went and got one of these Delta-8 disposables, okay? I mean, they are cheap. We talked about the appeal of them already. And I only ever got the brands that I knew were reputable, like people that I knew were buying them. And you know what, like it was hard times, okay? Plug wasn't answering and I was having a hard time and I needed something. So I was like, let me go to the gas station really quick, right? I have been laced multiple times. They always literally made me feel like I was laced. So I was like, okay, there's something off about these, because I would go back to regular clean flour and it was like, oh, this is okay. Now I'm remembering this is what it was supposed to feel like. So that is my experience, but I kind of wanted to give a little bit more of a video catalyst for this, because honestly, if I'm the only person that's having a bad experience with something, I'm not going to speak about it. But I'm like, okay, it was a one-off, you know, it's me. I'm the problem. But the main reason I wanted to make this video is because our generation has actually been really good at quitting our vapes, like our nicotine. Not me, but y'all are doing amazing. But these gas station carts, disposables, whatever you want to call them, are slipping through the crack because they are being treated and marketed like a legal version of marijuana. We think that they're giving us the same chill therapeutic effects, but they are not. When you hit your Delta-8 pen from Exxon, you might as well be inhaling Sprayway. So I can't actually give you like an average percentage of how much Delta-8 is in these products compared to filler toxins, because nobody knows. Nobody is checking. Nobody is protecting us. And while all of that is happening, the industry is cashing in. According to a study done by Brightfield Data, sales of Delta-8 and other synthetic cannabinoids in the US skyrocketed by 1,283% in just 3 years, jumping from $200 million in 2020 to nearly $2.8 billion in 2023. And that is exactly what makes this so dangerous. We've seen this pattern before with other drug epidemics, an industry making billions while downplaying risks, packaging it to make it look safe, and targeting it straight to young people. The only difference is that this time it's even harder to recognize. Delta-8 is sold literally everywhere in bright packaging. It's flavored like candy. It's marketed as medicinal, and it's also extremely cheap. It is basically the perfect drug of choice. And because it's seen as a legal version of marijuana, the urgency and concern is just not there. And if you're like me, you probably want to know how this is still legal even though marijuana is/was not. And I'm saying is/was because there are still some states that it's not legal in, so use your brain. So let's start off by breaking down what is Delta-8 and why is it so dangerous. First, there is the hemp plant, and there is also the marijuana plant. Just like marijuana, hemp contains over 100 different cannabinoids, and these are like THC, CBD, Delta-8, Delta-9, etc. Delta-9 is the main cannabinoid that gets you high, and it has a very similar chemical compound structure to Delta-8. Delta-8 does in fact naturally show up in cannabis, but in such tiny amounts that they would never be able to make a commercial product from it. So the Delta-8 being sold in gummies and vapes is in fact not natural. It's made through a synthetic conversion process. And now you're like, okay, bitch, how is it made? Tell us. Michael Coffin, the chief scientist at Elevation Distro, explained it like this. The conversion of CBD to Delta-8 involves refluxing CBD in an organic solvent such as, I don't know how to freaking say this, toluene or heptane with p-toluesinofenic acid. Okay, don't come for me. You can't say that shit either. Or another acid that serves as a catalyst. You basically close the ring on the CBD molecule. So in plain English, if you're a little confused like I was, they take the CBD from the hemp plant, mix it with chemical solvents and acid, and force it to become Delta-8 in a lab. What happened to consent? So now you're probably like, okay, great. Why is this legal? Why is it in every store I walk into? Listen, I am probably the last person that you should come to for legal advice. I want this video to be thorough, so here is a quick breakdown. The modern rise of Delta-8 started after the 2018 US Farm Bill. This bill is basically a bunch of farmer hoopla, but it also legalized hemp farming, as long as the hemp contained less than 0.3% of Delta-9 THC. Lawmakers were like, shit, you can't get high out this shit anyway. There's only 0.3 freaking percent of, they're fine. They're just gonna be making rope, fiber, food. They didn't see it as a big deal, okay? They were like, whatever. Farmers can fucking have it, all right? But here's where things got messy. After the bill passed, farmers grew loads, and I mean loads of hemp to make CBD. But because there was no demand for CBD, there was just like everybody was like, no, we want to get high. So because there was so much hemp being grown, there was just so much supply. And they were like, what the hell do we even do with this? Nobody wanted it. So the market got flooded, the CBD prices tanked, and you know what companies do when they're in a rut. The 3 E's, man. Engineer, entice, exploit. And that's exactly what they did. So using a chemistry method that was founded in the 1960s or some shit, producers started converting all of that extra CBD to Delta-8. They were like, we're going to be millionaires, boys. And because the Farm Bill of 2018 only restricted Delta-9 and not Delta-8, there was this legal gray area. And they were allowed to do whatever the fuck they wanted to. This loophole let Delta-8 flood the market, and it is being marketed as a legal alternative to marijuana, disregarding the fact that they are psychoactive, unregulated, and potentially very dangerous. And you know what else is potentially dangerous? The fact that this light is overheating me. Why is this so bad, and who is at risk? Obviously you, because you clicked on this video. This part is kind of heavy because it's very article driven. I'm not some kind of cannabis scientist. These people are, so I thought I would read some articles from people who know what they're talking about. Christopher Hadala, who runs Pro Verde Laboratories, straight up said consumers are being used as guinea pigs. To me, that's horrific. Me as well. You think he's being dramatic? He's not. He is absolutely not. Delta-8 is not a natural miracle. Dr. Hadala says that they are using strong acids, strong bases, sometimes even metal catalysts. Metal catalysts. You are inhaling think about that. Things you would never want in your body. Now, in a pharmaceutical lab, chemists would probably be testing for all of that, but the Delta-8 world is literally the Wild West. These are like crooked chemists making these things. I'm just saying. Kyle Boyer from Hey Guy, what's up? Even said most people aren't bothering to clean up the final product with distillation or chromatography. And if you're like me, hearing chromatography, and you're like, what the hell is even that? Chromatography, as described by Khan Academy, it's an analytical technique commonly used for separating a mixture of chemical substances into its individual components so that the individual components can be thoroughly analyzed. The problem is, most of these Delta-8 labs just skip over that. Just skip over it. Amber Wise, another cannabis scientist, explained that a lot of these guys are literally getting their recipes off of internet forums. What? What in the fucking Breaking Bad is this shit? Some of these chemicals that are being mentioned to being used in the process, dichloromethane, or paint stripper, and trichloroacetic, I don't know if that's how you say it, acid, literally an herbicide.
What?
An herbicide. That is what's potentially in these products that you are currently using. Don't shoot the messenger. And that chief scientist Hadala guy said something that really stuck with me. It's like making methamphetamine from cold medicine. Just because the starting materials are legal doesn't make the resulting product safe. Guys, it gets scarier. You know, if you think you've heard the worst of it, think again. So this is the part that really scares me. This synthetic Delta-8 has only been around since 2018. 2018. 7 years, okay? 7 years old. Delta-8 went into first grade this year. There's not been enough time for scientists to study what this actually does long term. We are quite literally in the middle of a live experiment, and the public, especially kids, are the test subject. And even though this product is only 7 years old, we have already had thousands of reported Delta-8 poisoning cases. And out of these thousands of people that have had Delta-8 poisoning, 40% of them have been minors. And because it is so new, people are not going to be automatically looking at these products when they have health problems because they're not aware of it. So there are probably so many more cases of people being poisoned by this stuff and they just don't even realize it. The mild side effects of Delta-8 poisoning sound bad enough, but in worst cases, we are talking seizures, coma, even respiratory failure. Researchers are and have been trying to get the word out about Delta-8, but there's still a huge blind spot because it hasn't been properly studied yet. The price is low, it's being marketed as safer than weed, and younger users are falling right into it. There was a study done by the UC San Diego researchers that people use Delta-8 more in states where weed is less accessible, which makes a lot of sense. People are not just gonna stop using marijuana because it's banned. They're just gonna find it. So yeah, between shady production, zero regulation, the fact it's only existed for a handful of years, and a whole generation of people thinking that this stuff is harmless, the risks aren't just high, they're actively being ignored. So what can we do? First off, I just want to say this as clearly as I can. None of the Delta-8 products that you are buying from gas stations, corner stores, smoke shops are safe. Not any of them. Because none of them are being tested. Because none of them have to be. And if these cannabis scientists telling you that this is not weed and it's not safe is not enough for you, the FDA and the CDC also highly recommend against using Delta-8 products. I want to reiterate, Delta-8 does naturally occur in cannabis, but in such tiny amounts that you could never get enough from the plant itself to make a commercial product. You know what? Show this video to your weed guy. Guess what? Your stuff's not real, my guy. Delta-8. You know what? I believed it too. I really believed it. I would probably never touch a Delta-8 product ever again in my entire life after doing all of this research. And I'm a fiend. So If I'm saying that, you know it's serious. And you know what? This isn't me just talking out of paranoia either. Researchers are saying the exact same thing. A UC San Diego study pointed out that one of the biggest issues isn't just the product themselves, it's the laws around them. Right now, hemp laws are so vague that this Delta-8 thing kind of slipped straight through the legal loophole. And that's how it ended up on shelves everywhere with zero oversight. The study's author said that Congress needs to step up, either by redefining hemp in the Farm Bill or by creating new laws that deal with cannabinoids in finished products. Eric Lees, one of the researchers, summed it up literally perfectly. We need to ensure people aren't caught in a policy vacuum, relying on products that fall outside both safety regulations and scientific understanding. And here's the key part. It's not about banning everything. You know, you hear the word ban and it can get a little controversial. It's not about banning these products themselves. Also warn that prohibition doesn't fix the problem. People don't just stop using something because it's banned. They find alternatives. That's how we ended up here in the first place. Instead, what we need are policies that actually reflect how people behave. If people are going to use it, it needs to be tested, regulated, and safe. And until then, all we can really do is make informed choices. And I think that's the most important takeaway, is that this isn't harmless. It's not diet weed, an untested, unregulated chemical experiment that we've all been tricked into thinking is fine. So if you care about your health, even just a little bit, don't let these companies cash in on you being the guinea pig.
That was the Cassie show, I guess you can call it.
If it was up to me, what would I do if it was up to me? I'd be like, give me all your Delta-8. And then I would smoke. I'd take one for the team, I guess.